So this is a common hawthorn semi-cascade bonsai. The reason for showing you this tree is that it features a very prominent piece of carving that I carried out 2 years ago to hide a large, flat trunk chop wound. Because of its position on the tree, it is important to me that the Deadwood design does not deteriorate over time, as this would simply leave an ugly black cavity. So to ensure that the Deadwood does not and cannot break down, I've used cyanocrylate to preserve it. Also known as crazy glue or superglue, cyanocrylates not only preserve the wood, they give it great structural strength, enabling me to create a very delicate looking Deadwood design. The strengthening of the wood is the fundamental reason I have moved on from using wet rot hardeners, wax and other preservatives. Here's another example of using cyanocrylates. A shrub honeysuckle or lonicera with exposed roots or nigari. Honeysuckle has wood that will break down after a few years, and with so much deadwood in the design, it's been very necessary to preserve and strengthen the wood with the cyanocrylate. Again, it has also enabled me to carve a very detailed design, the spiraling design, into one of the gins. So if we move on to the practicalities of applying this chemical on an old garden juniper that I recently acquired with a very wet, rotted base from growing in poor quality soil. It is important to try and use the glue when temperatures are above 10 degrees centigrade, or the glue does not travel into the wood as well. Ordinary super or crazy glue is literally dropped over the wood. Don't use the gel types of glue as they contain silicone and are too viscous to penetrate very deeply. The superglue is absorbed into the wood until it hits some moisture. Superglue doesn't start to set until it hits this moisture, at which point there is a chemical reaction that sets it rock hard, allowing deeper penetration rather than simply hardening the very top layer of wood. The very best time to apply the superglue is during the summer months when the exterior of the deadwood is very, very dry, but you may still have the wet rot within. Try to avoid runoff into the bark for cosmetic reasons, as equally avoid using so much that it runs into the soil. However, the superglue will set as soon as it hits moisture on the soil surface, and it is very unlikely to cause any real problems to the roots. Just use some common sense when applying it. One of the most difficult areas of rotting wood to cure on any tree is around the roots and underneath the soil surface. Because I am also carefully removing the old organic soil that has caused the rot in the first place, I'm taking the opportunity to cure that submerged wood as well. A setting of the glue takes minutes. It is not necessary to leave the roots exposed for very long. Notice how close to the roots I am comfortably able to use the superglue. The superglue will slowly sink into the wood. You can keep applying further layers of glue until no more is absorbed. These areas will be left with a shiny glossy surface, but this is easily brushed with a wire brush. Where there is a high moisture content at the surface of the wood, or you apply the superglue in cool conditions under 10 degrees centigrade, you find that the glue dries with a cloudy, white opaque appearance. Again, this is easily removed with a wire brush fitted to a Dremel or by hand. Where the wood has slightly wet appearance after preservation, you can simply wait for the wood to weather naturally in the garden for 2 to 3 months. Lime sulphur, ash or any other colouring agents that you typically use can be used before or after preservation using the superglue. I hope you've enjoyed this short video. I wish I had learned about the cyanocrylate a long time ago, given the problems I've had in the past trying to preserve wood that ends up crumbling away. For further information, please see the article on my website that I've linked to below.